All right, everybody, if you can just raise your digital hand, we'll get going.
Sorry, I'm a little late. I just finished up with team meeting.
Go ahead, Rich.
Hey, Coach, 8.7 yards per play against Georgia Tech. That was even higher than Colgate. That was your highest total of the year. Just comment on that.
Yeah, the explosives. Rich, I just watched the explosives with the team just to kind of show the offense, really the defense and the whole team, what it looked like. Hold on one second. You need me to mute that, Jason? Hold on, guys. Hang on, Rich. I'm going to answer your question, but there's some high-tech stuff Jason can't figure out. All right, I'm back. It was the explosives, Rich. The explosive pass plays, 48, 38, 38, 24, 26, 13. Runs of 16, 31, 14. It's hard. It's hard day on the defense when you can hit that many explosives. And I mean, shoot, you're almost getting a first down a play. I mean, credit to Coach Signetti and the offensive staff and the execution of the players. That's one of the most explosive days I've been a part of, and it was awesome.
We'll go to Andy.
Hey, Jeff, just want to ask more about CJ Burden. I know he came in. You said he hadn't really played any nickel before yesterday. Was he taking reps at the position during practice? Because I noticed Josh was the only player listed on the depth chart at nickel.
Yeah, well, Sean Ashbury, he was our nickel. He was our backup nickel. Okay, so until he got hurt, he was getting all those reps for the backup nickel position. Once he got hurt, we started working CJ in a bit. But Andy, when you get into a game week, especially late in the season, when I really start to cut the reps down, your ones get most of the reps. And then the twos, we tried to work CJ in a bunch and get him those reps. And what I meant, and I apologize if it came off the wrong way, he's never played nickel in a game. He's practiced it, but only for the last couple weeks. And when the bolts are flying and it's full speed out there, that's a position that with motions, it adjusts. He's got to fit in the run game. He's got to blitz. He's got to cover. He's got to play zones. And I thought he did a pretty admirable job of going in there. When you watch him play on the outside and cover and just play man, I mean, shoot, that's where you see his quickness, his instincts, his ability to cover people. And that fires you up because he's got a great future. And I do think he'll be able to play inside and outside. It's just really hard to ask a young player to play both because there's a lot going on. I mean, shoot, even when I was in the NFL, it was hard within the same course of one game to have a guy go back and forth from inside to outside. It's basically like playing two different positions. But I'm really proud of him. And you see some really good things on film when you watch it. He can cover people and he can play ball.
We'll go to Trevor.
Hey, Jeff, just more about Jaden Woodby. Just first of all, what did that play mean to you guys? That that's such a pivotal point in the game? And then just what has he meant overall as a player so far this year, especially last night?
Oh, he's been a huge part. Great leadership, character. I love being around him. He's been a huge part of the defense. And at that strong safety position, he has the versatility to play in the box, to blitz, to play deep. He's a smart guy. He studies a ton of film, and he's played. He's been consistent. He takes care of his body. God willing, he'll be able to stay healthy and finish the year. But he's played a lot for us, and that was a really big play he made. Huge play. Totally swung the momentum to give the ball back to the offense, and he's had a bunch of those this year. And it only being year one in the scheme, I just think he's going to continue to get better and better. But I talk about the transfer portal. And, I'm not against the portal, but you just got to really be right on it, right? You guys got to really fit our culture, fit in our locker room. And he has been a complete home run. And I really appreciate him.
We'll go to Emma.
Jeff, Phil talked about this a little bit yesterday with us, but he said he's lost a couple pounds. He's a little more agile in the run game. How have you seen him progress, and what does that do for your offense when you have a quarterback who's picking up the run game?
No, it opens up the run game for the running backs. It opens up the pass game for the wideouts because remember, when you start running the quarterback, you create an extra gap. You have an extra blocker because usually you don't count on that guy keeping the football. So it's either going to bring more people in the box, which it's going to open up the explosives in the pass game, which you've seen happen. He can extend plays when he scrambles, which you saw yesterday happen. And now that we have the design quarterback runs for him, it's going to give defenses a lot more to plan for. He does look faster, Emma, and I'm not sure exactly how much weight he lost. He does look leaner. I do believe it. I believe he's more confident And I think it shows. I think it shows in the pocket. I think his feet look quicker. I think he's setting up faster. He's scrambling quicker, and he certainly, I mean, on some of those runs yesterday, he was moving.
We'll go to Dan.
Coach, you mentioned yesterday the wide receivers blocking on some of those runs too. How much of that's by design? How much of that is them instinctual, looking for something before the play versus, just charging ahead at their assignment on the defensive back? Like, how's that work for them to learn how to block with their hands and the technique?
It's design. We cracked a few guys yesterday. We inserted a few guys on safeties and linebackers yesterday. And it's something I really challenged. That was part of the plan to win. Each Tuesday I get up there and I tell the guys what the plan to win is going to be: offense, defense, and special teams, after talking to the coordinators and watching all the film. And one of the things was our wide receivers blocking, because that really opens up the run game, and it also sets up the explosive pass plays. I think when you turn on the film, if you see a bunch of wide receivers blocking, you're going to be in for a long game, because when the wideouts are blocking, it's a pretty tough team. And I wanted them to set the tone. And Dan, when those guys start blocking and they're aggressive and they're cracking, now all of a sudden it opens up the run actions where all of a sudden they think it's going to be a block, and now they're gone down the field. So it makes it real. I thought our wide receivers played their best game overall, not just with the explosives. I think they played faster. They made some really competitive catches, and they blocked. And it's just, I finished up the team meeting. The first thing I showed was about five of the wideouts blocking. I showed that before I actually showed them catching the ball. So I'm glad you noticed that and brought it up.
We'll go to Andy.
I know you explained the special team strategy yesterday. I just had one follow-up. Is Steven Ruiz your directional kick guy? I know you went with him instead of Danny and then switched over to Danny later. Just what role does Steven play for you guys?
No, not just directional. Steven's been booting the ball in practice. I mean, he's been really kicking well, and Coach Turn just felt really good, and I agreed. So we felt good about him kicking the ball deep. We felt good about him kicking the ball short. We feel good about him doing everything. He just earned the right to go out there and be the starter. And clearly, we need to coach, and we need to execute better, because that wasn't good enough yesterday. And you heard what the plan was when I spoke of it yesterday. And I just say that to be honest, and it needs to be better.
Go to Rich.
Hey, Coach, this was a fabulous weekend of football in the ACC. And I was just wondering, now that you're playing in front of crowds, do you have like a greater appreciation for this league or a better understanding of this league than you did maybe last year, even though you played a lot more ACC games?
I think being in our second year, I think I have a little bit better feel. I definitely have an appreciation for the league. There's a lot of good players on a lot of these teams. I mean, just look at Georgia Tech, really blowing out North Carolina, almost beating Clemson, losing a couple other games at the last second by field goals, explosive athletes all over the field. You can say that about Virginia Tech. I mean, look what Virginia Tech did to Duke yesterday. NC State and Wake, kind of watching that on the plane on the way home. And then watching Pitt on when they play Thursday night against Carolina, a game that I fell asleep and I think it was still on when I woke up. I have a lot of appreciation, not only for the players in this league, but for the coaches. I think the league's going to get better and better, and I'm just grateful to be part of it.
Go to Trevor.
Seemed like Georgia Tech's speed really got you guys in the first quarter and then a bit in the second, and then you guys adjusted pretty well in the second half. Just what changed in that area, and can you coach that, or is that just effort, or how does that unfold?
I think it's both. Truthfully, Trevor, I felt like we were a little sluggish early on in the game, and I'm not knocking anything. That's just the way I felt and the way I saw it. And then I think our guys really picked it up. At the same time, we had to do some things to adjust with some of the things they were trying to attack us out on the perimeter. And I thought the staff made some really quick, good adjustments. If you look at the game defensively, the thing I was most proud of is, one, I'll say this, that's probably the first game I've ever been a part of where we've been down, or I've been a part of a game where we've been down 21-7 in the first half, but going to the locker room up 28-21. Guys, I don't know if I've ever seen that on the road. I mean, that's one of the biggest halftime swings I've ever been a part of. And part of that was the defense. We give up the one kick, and then we give up 14 points. Really, we give up 14 points defensively in the first half. In the second half, we give up 9 points, right? Because the kickoff accounts for 7 of the other points. But when we messed up on those 2 kicks, they get the ball at the plus 44 and at the plus 48. We stopped them on both for no points. So yeah, Trevor Watt, I think we did start a little bit off and we had to adjust. We had to play a little faster. Stopping them when they got the ball on the plus 44 and the plus 48, those were 2 crucial defensive stops. So you got to give those guys credit. I know there were more explosives than we're used to seeing. And again, obviously that starts with me, and we need to fix that and be better. But I'm really proud of the way the guys responded in that game.
We'll go to Dan.
Coach, a third down defense was good yesterday. I know in the second quarter specifically. The number of third downs that the team has had against you has dropped over the last 3-4 weeks. How important? Oh, first off, how does that happen? Like, how do you get into a situation where they don't have as many third down situations? And 2 is when they have less, is it important to get yourself in a good third down, so to speak, where you get them into a third down where it's more advantageous versus just getting off the field on third down?
Yeah, I mean, you want to get them in the 3rd and 7+. I mean, shoot, I'd love to get teams in like 3rd and 20, Dan. That's just really hard to do. You got to stay away from the 3rd and shorts and the 3rd and mediums. The amount of third downs, I mean, a lot goes into that. How many possessions are they getting? How's our offense playing? Are we giving up chunks where it's first down, second down, first down, second down? So there's a lot that goes into that. You know, sometimes you get into a game and, you know, you get a lot of short yardage plays, so you don't really get into your third down package. Yesterday, you know, the biggest disappointment in that game maybe early on was the 3rd and 16 they converted when they scrambled and they ran seams and the kid came back off the scramble. After that, we kind of adjusted and we became more aggressive because we didn't want to give the kids scramble opportunities. That's why you guys saw at the end of the game, we started, I think Emma asked last night, that's where we started being more aggressive and playing man and pressuring them so we could be tighter in coverage and get more people in his face. But third down, I mean, that's the game. That's where the game's won and lost, and that's what extends drives. So I think sometimes, Dan, the better we play on third down, the less third downs we get, right? Because we don't give them more opportunities. And then it also depends what the offense is doing. So for me, it's always been possessions. And that's constantly what I'm thinking about on the sideline.
Andy?
Part of that second quarter swing was you guys had 3 touchdown drives that were less than 2 minutes in length. And then in the second half, it looked like you guys slowed things down a little bit more, went more with the traditional run game. Was that something you and Frank talked about to maybe even out time possession a little bit? Yeah.
We felt we could run the ball on them, and we did not want to give them. It's kind of like what we just talked about. The number of possessions is always going to be in my mind. And if that starts to get really high, you try to cut it back by controlling the game a little bit if you can. And we felt like we could eat up some of the clock with the runs and still mix in the passes and have the same, be opportunistic when we did, and we were. I think part of the game too in the second half, our offense converted. If you look back to last week, we weren't good on the 3rd and shorts, and we kind of we talked about that, remember? So we kind of challenged the guys. Yesterday, we were really good on the 3rd and longer. I mean, the one backed up, if you remember, they had momentum, and it was right by their student section. It was a 3rd and long. And Phil kind of put the ball in between 2 defenders, and Trey kind of caught it on his back shoulder when he opened the hip. And that was one of the biggest third downs of the game. We made some big time third down throws and catches and had good protection, which I think were huge in the game yesterday.
Jeff, that looks like it's all our questions. Thank you.